I've got huge breaking news for you. Donald Trump this evening signed an executive order creating the strategic Bitcoin reserve for the United States. He also talked about the digital stockpile, which will hold altcoins. I'll give you all the details and what's being said by the industry players. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we got breaking news. This evening, Donald Trump signed an executive order establishing the strategic Bitcoin reserve and a U.S. digital asset stockpile. The strategic Bitcoin reserve will of course be exclusive to Bitcoin, and the digital asset stockpile will include altcoins. Let me play a clip of Donald Trump signing the executive order with David Sachs explaining the details of this.
Today we're signing, and this is very historic, an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. This is a promise that you made throughout the campaign, and today we're keeping that promise. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin that the federal government already owns, so it won't cost taxpayers a dime. This is like a digital Fort Knox for digital gold. And premature sales of Bitcoin over the past years cost American taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value because we didn't have a long-term strategy.
Right.
Now we do. So.
And this is something you believe in fully?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
And the whole community believes in it.
Very good. And they made the promise, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a good one.
So there you have it, folks. Pretty incredible. And if you heard what David Sachs said, this is creating a Fort Knox for digital gold. And he talked about the importance of this. And they're not going to buy any Bitcoin. They're going to use the existing 200,000 Bitcoin the U.S. Marshals had seized from different bad actors. So this is what I've been saying for a long time. The buying aspect is a hard sell. It's too early for that. But just keeping the 200,000 and starting the reserve with that is very easy, right? He doesn't need to go through Congress. So guys, this is a big moment, a watershed moment, and huge for the crypto asset class. Now, David Sachs, the White House crypto czar, also tweeted out some details about this. I'll read through it. Bear with me. It's very important that I give you all the details. So he said, just a few minutes ago, President Trump signed an executive order to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin owned by the federal government that was forfeited as part of criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings. This means it will not cost taxpayers a dime. It is estimated that the United States government owns about 200,000 Bitcoin. However, there has never been a complete audit. The executive order directs a full accounting of the federal government's digital asset holdings. The U.S. will not sell any Bitcoin deposited into the reserve. It will be kept as a store of value. The reserve is like a digital Fort Knox for the cryptocurrency called digital gold. Premature sales of Bitcoin have already cost U.S. taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value. Now, the federal government will have a strategy to maximize the value of its holdings. The secretaries of the Treasury and Commerce are authorized to develop budget-neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin, provided that those strategies have no incremental costs on the American taxpayers. In addition, the executive order establishes a U.S. digital asset stockpile consisting of digital assets other than Bitcoin forfeited in criminal or civil proceedings. This is, I think, along the lines of XRP, Solana, Cardano, Ethereum that were mentioned by Trump on Sunday. The government will not acquire additional assets for the stockpile beyond those obtained through forfeiture proceedings. The purpose of the stockpile is a responsible stewardship of the government's digital assets under the Treasury Department. Promises made and promises kept. So, big news, guys, a watershed moment. And if you are bearish in this moment, you are missing the bigger macro picture here of what's setting up. Guys, the market's down right now. The market's not even reacting to this news. And guess what? That's okay. I've often said positive news does not automatically equal a pump. It depends what's happening in the market. We could be in a downtrend, a consolidation, and the liquidity and the sentiment's not there. but it will catch up. How many times have we seen this, guys? But this is a massive, massive update. And I've often told you guys, things start with Bitcoin and then it goes to altcoins. We saw it with TradFi. We're going to see it with the government. So be patient. It's so important to have perspective here, guys. And Eleanor Terrett of Fox Business did a great job recapping and summarizing the details around the digital asset stockpile. And she said, the other is a digital asset stockpile containing assets other than Bitcoin, presumably XRP, ADA, ETH, and Solana, as announced by the president last weekend and potentially others. The key difference between the reserve and the stockpile is that the government will not actively look for ways to purchase more of the assets contained in the stockpile. It will only explore using government funds if they can find budget neutral ways to do that to buying Bitcoin. So very, very interesting. And then we got news after that the US Secretaries of Treasury and Commerce are authorized to develop a budget neutral strategies to buy additional Bitcoin for the reserve. So you see the ball is rolling here, folks, and we'll see what they come up with. One of the things they've been talking about is a sovereign wealth fund, but they're going to look for ways where they don't have to, take taxpayer dollars. And that's going to be a big thing because Congress is not going to approve that, of course. But if they find a different way to do it, it could work out. But this is a historic moment, the start of a Bitcoin reserve. And we know many states within the US are also looking to do this. So now that they see the federal government is approving this, expect many states to follow suit. And game theory, if the United States is doing it, other countries will follow suit, guys. The FOMO will be real. Have a macro view on the markets despite what the price action is right now. Matt Hogan, who I often have on the podcast, he's the CIO at Bitwise, summarized the impacts of the strategic Bitcoin reserve. He says, one, dramatically reduces the likelihood the US government will someday ban Bitcoin. Two, dramatically increases the likelihood that other nations will establish strategic Bitcoin reserves. Three, accelerates the speed at which other nations will consider establishing strategic Bitcoin reserves because it creates a short-term window for nations to front-run potential additional buying by the United States. Number four, it makes it harder for institutions from national account advisor platforms to quasi-government agencies like the IMF to position Bitcoin as somehow dangerous or inappropriate to hold. We've crossed the chasm, folks. Wall Street's here, BlackRock, they're launching their ETFs. They've all embraced Bitcoin. The US governments are embracing Bitcoin. States within the US are embracing Bitcoin. Nation states and different countries. Watch the FOMO start over the next few weeks and months and even to the remainder of the year. I hope you guys see what's happening here and that you can separate your emotions from the facts and what is being set up here. And that is a setup, guys, for a massive euphoric bull run to an ultimate blow up top. Nate Geraci of the ETF Store said, we went from no spot Bitcoin ETF to strategic Bitcoin reserve in just over a year. It's incredible how fast things are moving. Now, of course, tomorrow is the White House Crypto Summit, the first ever, and you have a lot of people across the industry going to be there. And of course, the news of, what the U.S. government's going to do with Bitcoin and the digital assets is probably going to be discussed there. And we'll see if there's any other major takeaways. But I think this was the big news, right? So I'm not anticipating anything necessarily new tomorrow, maybe some additional details. But all the notable figures in the crypto industry, guys, a lot of CEOs and much more on the major exchanges and crypto companies and much more, guys. It's incredible. Things are setting up beautifully here. And in addition, Trump's World Liberty Financial, they have partnered with SWI to launch a strategic SWI reserve. We know World Liberty Financial has been buying a lot of Ethereum and Ondo, and now it looks like they're going to buy some SWI. I have some SWI in my portfolio. And of course, Ethereum, I don't have Ondo, but I may grab some Ondo, guys. With the market being down, it's a good time to dollar cost average in, not financial advice. But I may look to take a position here if they're going to set up a foundation because they're going to buy. They're going to buy. So you're going to have that demand. So World Liberty Financial and SWI begin to explore product development opportunities. World Liberty Financial plans to include SWI assets in the macro strategy. Its strategic token reserve designed to bolster leading projects. Guys, I'm so bullish. I know many of you are going to be like, Tony, you're crazy. You're on drugs. You're an idiot. But I'm looking at the data. I'm looking at the macro backdrop with global liquidity in the DXY. I'm looking at what the government is clearly doing, right? Things are moving in the direction of mass adoption and crypto being prominent in the government and in TradFi and the economy and much more. I've often told you guys the markets and the economy will run on blockchain. Will it happen overnight? Of course not. But you can see we're on the path. We're headed in that direction, guys. It's clear as day what's happening here, and it's coming now from the government at the highest level. I mean, you go back to when I got into this market, 2016, no one would have ever thought the United States would create a Bitcoin reserve. You would look like a moron, an idiot back then saying stuff like that. Look how far we've come. Guys, quick word from our sponsor, and that is Uphold. Uphold is a great crypto platform that I've been using since 2018. You can buy Bitcoin and all the top altcoins on this platform. They have 300 plus cryptocurrencies. They are safe and they are easy to use. They are fully reserved. They don't commingle or lend out your crypto funds. You can review their transparency report. And guys, they have an amazing rewards program where you can earn up to 5.25% on stablecoins. This reward program also gives you 24-hour early access to new tokens. In order to participate, you need to log into the app once per month, deposit $50 once per month, and trade $50 once per month. These stable coins that they support, you can get 5% on Circle's USDC, Ripple's RLUSD, and PayPal's PYUSD, and you can get 5.25% on USBC. So this is an amazing rewards program. If you'd like to learn more, visit the link in the description. Now, guys, we are seeing global adoption of crypto. We're seeing news coming out from different governments and institutions globally. And here's another example. Dubai's largest bank, Emirates NBD, now allows customers to buy Bitcoin and crypto through its digital banking app. And if you're not paying attention to this news and you're just looking at the volatility of the market, you're going to miss it. And there's people who panic sold. They're so scared about tariffs and this and that. And yes, those things can cause volatility and short-term dips, but it's just short term. The macro, guys, we're headed higher. And just look at what happened in March of 2020. That really solidified my thesis of what governments will always do. They will always bail out and print money because they can't let the collateral, the asset, go to zero. That will collapse the markets, collapse confidence in governments and the currencies. It will be the end of civilization. We will go back to ground zero and fighting each other in the streets for food. So get out of your mind that this stuff is going to zero. Crypto is here to stay, clearly, right? Look at all the things we've been talking about, the embrace of from government and financial institutions globally. The problem is, as we've seen time and time again, is how smart money always beats out retail. Retail gets scared. They're not well educated. They're not researched. They don't know how to control their emotions. Institutions are playing with algorithms and much more, looking at the macro. And I'm trying to share that knowledge with you. I went through that journey to learn these things. It helped me to make money. My portfolio is up incredible amounts because of learning these things, buying the blood on the streets, and now looking to sell the top. So guys, when in doubt, zoom out. Now, today there was also the CFTC CEO forum for crypto or digital assets, and acting chair Caroline Pham headed that up. And there were some big names there, guys. Paulo Arduino, Tether's CEO, who I've interviewed on the podcast a couple of times, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, Ivan from MoonPay, Chris from Crypto.com. You had Heath Tarbert, president at Circle, Greg Tussar, head of institutional product at Coinbase. So you see what's happening here, guys. Again, look at where we've come and where we're at. It's amazing, amazing. This is so bullish. And look, this is wild news, but I got to let you guys know about it. Tucker Carlson got an interview with Sam Bankman-Fried while he's in jail. And it's crazy. Everybody was like, why are you interviewing this dude? Some of it is a little fascinating because you get to hear certain things that are going on, like in jail. Like he's apparently in the same jail with Diddy. So there's jokes running around about that. But guys, some of the statements this man made saying, I don't think I was a criminal. I can only facepalm when I hear stuff like that. And I just got to say, keep this man in prison as long as possible. He clearly has no remorse after all the crazy stuff he did. So he needs to be locked up. You do the crime, you pay the time. Now, Speaking of crime, New York has introduced a bill criminalizing crypto fraud and rug pulls with an aim to protect investors. We absolutely need this, right? We see that bad actors are taking advantage of meme coins. They're creating coins and rugging people. I've often said we cannot have that happening. And we need some sort of law in place. Now, the devil's in the details. We've got to make sure we read this bill that is not crossing the line of, stifling innovation. There's a balance here, right? So it's always in the fine print. We got to make sure the industry advocacy groups and folks read through this, the legal experts read through this and push back if there's something bad here. But I think we can all agree we need to stop the bad actors doing rug pulls. I'm not saying we need to stop meme coins, because there are legit meme coins that are part of big communities. You look at Dogecoin, Pepe and stuff, right? Those are not rug pulls. They've been established for a long time. They actually have developers working on their stuff. Now, I don't invest in them, and I don't see them as, great investment opportunities, but I believe in the free market. You can go to Vegas and gamble your money if you want. You can play the lottery if you want. You want to invest in some of these meme coins? Sure. Just know what you're getting into. But what we can't have happening is people setting up rug pulls. I'm going to launch this coin just to rug it 36 hours later. We can't have that, right? So this is good, but we got to make sure we find out the details. Now, Bitwise Asset Management partners with Maple Finance to give institutional clients DeFi and on-chain credit investment opportunities. The on and off ramps are being built for major institutions globally, guys. So this is pretty big. And Maple has been around for a while, and Bitwise is, of course, I mentioned Matt Hogan earlier. Bitwise is a great firm doing a lot of great things. So it's amazing. So here's a quote. This marks a pivotal step as institutional capital increasingly seeks structured, transparent, and yield-generating opportunities within the digital asset space, Bitwise wrote in a statement. They wouldn't be creating it if there wasn't demand. These are not nonprofit businesses. They are for profit. They're looking to, get as much money as possible, grow their revenue, and they see the demand and they're building their products. Really, really great stuff. Now, look at this. Japan's ruling party proposes capping crypto tax rate at 20%, matching stocks. Very good news. I hope something similar happens here, where there's a cap on the capital gains, where if you're trading or you're selling crypto, there's a lower capital gains tax. I've often said, in general, capital gains tax is highway robbery by these governments, because you take your already taxed money, you take the risk and invest in it. If you make money, you got to give the government some. Get the hell out of here, right? That's such bullshit, but I digress. But guys, again, globally, look at what's happening. Favorable things for crypto, regulations, and not to kill any of it, just put the guardrails in, protect consumers. The government, they want their tax revenue, but they're not killing it. And it is here to stay. And as I keep saying, the governments and the economy and the markets will run on blockchain. It will all run on blockchain, guys. Tokenization is the future of finance, as Larry Fink said. Let me give you some details. The Liberal Democratic Party seeks to categorize cryptocurrency under the Financial Instruments and Exchange Act and introduce a separate tax rate of 20%, akin to that applied to securities investments. Japan currently imposes taxes of up to 55% on crypto gains, as cryptocurrencies classified as miscellaneous income. Wow, 55%. That's brutal. But look, they're looking to fix it, right? And make sure things are much more favorable. And that is what we want to see. Guys, that's the news. Let me know what you think about the strategic Bitcoin reserve signed by Trump. I think it's an amazing moment, regardless of if you own Bitcoin or not, and you just have altcoins. It is the starting point of bigger things to come. Guys, a great way you can support me is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. You can check out the link in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. It actually covers FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried and much more. It talks about TradFi, jumping into crypto and the history and all this stuff with crypto, guys. It's all in the book. So check it out on Amazon. And if you want to expand your crypto knowledge, right? Knowledge is power. You want to learn about the different facets of crypto. Check out my new course at mycryptocourse.com. It's a comprehensive course that covers every aspect of crypto. what makes it unique and very different from any other course out there, it has expert commentary. You will hear from founders, CEOs, institutional investors, and much more explaining the different aspects of crypto. Once again, no other course out there offers this. So it is packed with a lot of value, full text write-ups, downloadable materials, videos, and you pay a one-time fee. You get lifetime access. You can go at your own pace, and you can share the login with your friends and family if you want. So guys, if you want to learn more, go to mycryptocourse.com. And thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.